That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Deep Water, the 9th film directed by Adrian Lyne, his first in 20 years.
Oh.
Not for lack of trying. And will be finally premiering on Hulu March 18th, 2022. Starring Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas, who were dating at the time and are no longer together, which is partially why there's no
press.
There's no press for this film.
What is an Adrian Lyne movie I would know?
Fatal Attraction.
Okay.
Jacob's Ladder.
Okay.
Flashdance. I know that you've seen his version of Lolita. He directed in 1997.
Oh, that's him. Okay.
9.5 Weeks. Foxes. His last film was Unfaithful, starring Diane Lane, which netted her an Oscar nomination. It is a remake of a 1969 Claude Chabrol film, An Unfaithful Wife. So infidelity is very much a part of Adrian Lyne's toolbox. Since we've seen him last, he tried to make a film called Backroads, starring Kristen Stewart, which eventually went to, I think Alex Pettyfer directed that. And then about 2014-15, he was trying to get a Nicole Kidman project off the ground, which I think was called something like The Unfaithful Wife or something.
I know you read the book, but we can save that to after. But first,
This is also a remake. This was adapted in 1981 by Michel Deville, starring Isabelle Huppert and Jean-Louis Trintignant. Notably, Trintignant, 3 decades later, would be Huppert's dad in Amour, but he plays her lover in this movie. Anyway.
The basic story. So Ben Affleck is married to Ana de Armas, and they have a little kid who's like 5 years old.
Tracy.
And they live in like a smallish town. He is a successful like inventor. He invented some chip that's used in drones. So they're very comfortable. Ben and Ana have like an open marriage, I guess, but really only she's executing that option. And so he's fine with it, except that she is out here in these streets being she's not discreet.
Flagrant.
And the men who she is interacting with are kind of like bozos, so that makes Ben feel away. Okay, so when we meet them, we learn that one of the men she was seeing has gone missing. Then we're introduced to this new man she's seeing, and they're at a party, and he's a clown, so Ben is like kind of annoyed by him, and tells this fool, you know that guy who's missing? You know he was a friend of my wife, like how you're a friend of my wife. Yeah, well I killed him. So, of course, that scares the guy. He tells everyone. So now the community knows that Ben said this. And it gets back to Ana. So she's upset. So she says, you need to smooth this over. He tries, but then scares the guy off again. Then Ben finds out, well, sort of a side character is this guy in the community who's like a noir writer.
Played by Tracy Letts, who's new to the community.
And he doesn't like Ben. I think he doesn't like their little situation. He doesn't like that Ben said he killed someone. So he has his eye on him. Ben gets a call one day saying like, oh, your wife wrote a check that is going to get bounced for insufficient funds unless you would like me to transfer money from one of your other accounts. Well, tell me who the check is to. And it's to some guy named Charlie, and the memo says like piano lessons. So Ben does a little research, finds out where Charlie plays piano at some restaurant bar. He goes to check this guy out, and guess who's there? His wife, being all flirtatious with this man. So, cut to, there's a party at someone else's house. I think it's the writer's house, isn't it?
I don't think so.
No. Anyway, they're at a party.
He's there, though.
And the piano player shows up. Ana has arranged it so he's there playing piano. But as the night goes on, Ben realizes like she's sexual with him. So at the end of the night, everyone's been drinking. Some people smoked weed. They're all in the pool. It starts to rain. Everyone goes back into the house except for Ben and this third guy, this new guy. And the guy ends up dead. When the police come, Ana says, Ben did it.
Yep.
She's mad and she's acting real crazy and she says Ben did it. But the police don't have any evidence of that and it doesn't appear that he did it. So he's free to roam the streets. But Anna and that damn writer get together and hire like a private investigator. Okay, so
which isn't explicit, where the film is ambiguously telling us that.
okay. So now a fourth man is brought into the fold. This guy, we're told, is like the first guy Anna ever had sex with.
Tony, played by Finn Wittrock.
So now he's in the picture, getting all cozy with her, and of course Ben doesn't like that. So Ben lures this man. Oh, it's also important to know that while all this is happening, that first guy who went missing, they find him. He's dead, and they find the real killer. So Ben's off the hook. But this new guy, what's
Tony.
his name? Tony? Ben lures him to like the woods
Gorge.
and kills him.
Bludgeons him with a rock.
And then weighs him down like in the river or the lake or whatever. Okay, so now one day Ben and Anna and their kid are out by the Cuddy Star or whatever, and they see, only Ben sees that the body has floated back up. So he's fiddling with that body, trying to like get rid of it, when that damn writer drives by in his Subaru, sees what happens, and Ben knows he saw him, and he takes off. Like, I'm gonna tell on him. So then there's this very familiar scene of like the Subaru driving through the woods trying to get away, and then Ben hops on his bicycle, cuts through the woods, and cuts the guy off at the pass, which causes the guy in the Subaru to like very it's a very dramatic scene where the car crashes and it's made clear that this man is probably dead. So the end of the movie is Ben had took Tony's wallet and like his documents, and Anna finds them and burns them. So it's like, to the audience, it's acknowledging that like, and she says to him like, she found Tony. Like, I know that you did this. The end.
And she stays, presumably. Their character names are Vic and Melinda Van Allen, by the way.
All right. Well, this movie really resonated with me, but why don't you go ahead and talk? Because you read the book, you're familiar with the previous movie.
Oh yeah, anything Isabelle Huppert. I haven't seen it in a while, and that's interesting casting, and it has a different flavor than this film. But having just read the book written by Patricia Highsmith in 1957, it stays pretty true to what the text was. Highsmith, of course, her first novel was Strangers on a Train, which was made into a famous film by Hitchcock. She also wrote under a pseudonym Carol, which was made into Todd Haynes' film, a very explicitly lesbian novel. And then she wrote, of course, The Talented Miss Ripley and its ensuing sequels, and I was very familiar with those. She's a woman that was very much ahead of her time, and it's my understanding that she wasn't really appreciated as an author until years after her death. And I think you can see why, because this film translates very easily to today in a lot of ways. But obviously this is very modernized. I think it's interesting that a woman wrote a novel where you are sympathizing not only with the man, but a man who's a serial killer. I like that what Adrian Lyne is doing visually in a lot of scenes. There's a scene early on, I don't know if you remember it, where she takes her kid's lunchbox open and there's an apple in it and she starts eating it and then he starts eating it, as in they're kind of together in sin.
Oh.
Is how I looked at that. In the novel, he has a small printing press. In this film, he's created this chip that are used in military strike drones, and I like there's one news story in the background where they're talking about ISIS and then switch to this missing person that's her lover, which gives kind of a universal, like he has his hands in death all over the world. Is how I saw that. I think Ben Affleck is very entertaining in this. Ana de Armas I didn't quite enjoy as much, but then this isn't really written from her point of view, and it's a very one-sided narrative. The tagline is the love story is never the whole story, but this isn't the whole story either.
Should I go through my notes?
Yeah, let's talk.
Okay, well, let's see here. Oh, the young lover, the first one who we meet, I thought he looked like he could be Kurt Russell's son. Who's that guy?
Wyatt Russell?
Well, he doesn't look like Wyatt Russell. I'm saying that the actor could be the son of Kurt Russell.
Oh, Brendan Miller?
Yeah,
Okay.
but he doesn't look like
Playing
Wyatt
Joel.
Russell. This movie gave me, because Ana de Armas' character is a terrible mother.
She is.
She's a terrible mother, and it gave me like Christina Crawford, Mommy Dearest vibes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
which is kind of funny because there's a scene where she's making her daughter's lunch. Well, first of all, the daughter is playing like she's like, Alexa, play
Old MacDonald.
Old MacDonald, and so her and Ben are the kid and Ben are singing Old MacDonald, and Anna is like,
turn that off.
Alexa, don't ever play that song again. She's so annoyed.
It's very Christopher, Christina.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. Then there's a scene where Anna is making lunch for the little girl, and she makes her like a mayonnaise sandwich, which like, and then when she's done, she like throws it into the lunch.
Yeah, and it's we don't quite. It leaves a lot of questions about why this couple is playing these games with each other and how they got to this state. And there's one point where she, he's talking about how she has a daughter. Look how you're acting. You have a kid at home. And she's like, that's what you wanted.
Yeah, that's your problem. I didn't ask for that. Okay, so then the Kurt Russell son, he's scared off by Ben telling him that he killed this other man. But then, of course, Anna's mad and says, you need to make this right. So Ben invites Kurt Russell's son over and prepares like a dinner with zero intention of being nice to this man. And he prepares lobster bisque as one of the entree. And the guy says, oh, I'm allergic to shellfish. So they make him a grilled cheese sandwich. And just watching this bozo like...
Oh, and then she's like, I want a bite of that, and I don't like lobster bisque. It's like, man.
She's so flagrant.
She is, but, you get this
I was waiting for him to slap the shit out of her. I don't condone violence, but, I just thought, this man is going to kill this lady, which he doesn't.
But that's what's so, I think, interesting about this narrative overall is... these people that are in love but also hurting each other. But in the end, you get the sense that maybe he's killed for her twice and she knows it. In a weird sense, she's the one with the better moral center point because she's the one out in the community saying, my husband killed this man. I know he did.
Well, and technically she's not doing anything. She's not breaking rules. Her husband allows her to have sex with other men just because she's sort of flagrant and disrespectful. It's and then, she does say, I know my husband killed this man.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I really like that pool scene. I think this is well tuned for Ben Affleck over everybody else. And there's a few notable people in the supporting roles. I do like Tracy Letts, who plays the film, the noir
He's supposed
writer.
to be an unlikable character, and I didn't like him.
And in the novel, he doesn't die, so I find it funny that they make a point to kill him in this. Lil Rel Howery is...
I thought he felt out of place.
He did, but it's interesting, Lil Rel's in an Adrian Lyne film.
Yeah, he felt out of place. And then I think it's Lil Rel's wife.
The character.
The character... She's in two scenes where she is all up in Ben's shit, almost like she's flirting with him. And I felt like she felt out of place. Then the Tracy Letts wife,
played by Kristen Connelly.
I thought she was more appropriate because she seems like she really connects with Ben because he's a handsome guy. Everyone in the community likes him. He's sweet. And then, of course, he sees that his wife, who's prettier than her, is taking him for granted because she's out in these streets with these other men. And so it's clear that she likes him. Mm-hmm. I thought that character worked better. But my next note was that there is a scene where it seems like the daughter is acknowledging that her dad did something to that man.
Where she's in the bathtub?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's probably more clear in the book that the father and daughter really have the only real loving bond.
Right.
And she's being told at school that her dad's a killer, and
that's right.
It's like she's proud of it though, and because she says to him in the bathtub, you're probably just telling me you didn't, but you did.
Yeah. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, so I thought I did like this story.
This book was adapted by Sam Levinson, who's the director creator of Euphoria.
Oh, okay.
And I also liked his debut. What was that called with Ellen Burstyn and Ellen Barkin? I'm forgetting that.
Ellen Squared.
Another Happy Day, which in Demi Moore, to me that's a nice slice of miserableism. And Zach Helm, who wrote the Will Ferrell film Stranger Than Fiction.
So I like the story. It feels like an elevated soap opera. I think the acting from everyone except Ben is a little it's hard to take it very seriously.
Sure.
But the story's compelling and it kept me going because I knew you had told me the story when you were reading the book. I just didn't know the very end. And even knowing most of the story, I was like, very engaged. My only complaint, because I don't think that it is a very one-sided story, but it works.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
I just thought, I'm not trying to be difficult because I know that the two leads are a couple in real life.
Or
were. But I feel like they had zero chemistry, and I just didn't understand
his attraction
to her. I understood her attraction to him because he's allowing her to act out, and she's playing games with him, and he's rich, and so there are a lot of things that make sense on her end for why she stays with him, because he tolerates her, and there's even a scene where she says that. But for him, I was so confused. I'm so confused. I was just like, why doesn't he kill her? Because
then he'd be an automatic suspect. It's funny, he can kind of get away with killing her lovers.
No, I mean, I know. I don't really think he should have killed her, but it just seems like if he's willing to kill for her because of his jealousy, I think I needed to really understand because there is one sex scene that I don't know if that was supposed to
they show them
passion, but it felt so flat.
Which isn't in the book. They seem to be more at odds in the book. I was surprised that they kept this in the film. His character breeds snails and at one point bed bugs in his garage where he kind of sleeps in his makeshift room. And I like that they kept the snails. And there's one line where he's referencing about how a snail will climb a 12-foot wall to find its mate, suggesting that there is an innate attraction that's almost animalistic as a metaphor for him and his wife.
Sure, yeah, but then I feel like I needed to see that animalistic, instinctual attraction that these two people had, and I didn't. I mean,
sure,
maybe my radar's off, but I just did not see that.
That and the pool death scene, it reminded me a little bit of La Piscine, and its remake, of course, A Bigger Splash by Guadagnino. But this is just a few clicks away from something like Adrienne Barbeau and Creepshow, another Creepshow reference.
Yeah,
where she's like, "Call me Billy," with Hal Holbrook, isn't it? That has
I don't know who that is.
That has her killed. Yeah.
So this is not a date night movie.
No, for sure. But I think that's a testament to how well Patricia Highsmith has crafted adult characters.
Yeah. I would give it 3.5 out of 5.
I think I'll give it 3. But I would love to see more from Adrian Lyne, a favorite filmmaker of mine from the 80s. Jacob's Ladder, the original, is... I love it.
And I do like Ben Affleck.
I do too. I think he has gotten short shrift from the early 2000s and some, poor career choices. But yeah, between this and The Way Back and The Tender Bar, he's very good at playing a certain likable kind of male on screen.
Yeah, I'm into it. Anything else?
No.
Bye.